Hi guys, good evening. So today's video is all about emotional self-mastery. So in emotional self-mastery, what I want to talk about is many questions which arise within us. So when does a person want to become emotionally self-mastered person? One second. When does a person want to become emotionally self-mastered person? A person wants to become emotionally self-mastered only when he suffers, because he doesn't want his emotions to be in a web, always ebbing above, coming down like that. So when he wants to be always in balance and grounded, and when he wants to be with his inner peace, he searches for emotional self mastery. Okay, what is meant by this emotional self mastery? As far as me, a person wants to become emotional self master when he is emotionally very sensitive, and only a person who is emotionally very sensitive can become emotional self mastered person. Because of his emotional sensitivity, he would have intaken lots of emotional trauma. So he wants to let go, get healed out of it, and he wants to become emotional self master. Okay, so now let us see like who all gets affected. See, when a child grows from his childhood days, okay, so he gets emotionally traumatized, like because of the verbal abuse. Okay, verbal abuse. So like it's like very small things kid will get affected, no, emotionally, like that. When a mom scolds the kid gets emotionally traumatized. Kid gets like feels as if her mom, or like that kid's mom let her down, and when she blames the child in front of everybody, that child feels emotionally it has been neglected or rejected by the mother. So this is how that emotional sensitivity and emotional pain enters inside a human being itself from the small age. So when he wants to become emotionally self-mastered person, he realizes who he is actually. Okay, and so when he is like, he knows like small things are affecting me. I just don't want to be in such a situation. I don't want myself to undergo all this pain. I'm feeling very much suffocated within myself. So that thought itself is like out of self love, because you want to save yourselves, and you don't want to, actually you don't know what to do, but you don't want to undergo this pain. So what you do is you keep searching for a way. So this emotional self mastery, how to do that is when a kid is being rejected by the elderly person, whomever it may be, the caretaker, mom, grandparents, or the nanny, guardian, whomever it is. When they reject, however, how our whole system functions is, we have a brain, we call it as conscious mind. Okay, and this brain is wired throughout our body, and whatever instruction brain gives, the body acts accordingly. Okay, so this is conscious mind, and we have a mind. In general, they call it as a mind, which is subconscious mind, which we call it as our inner child. And the inner child is responsible and is also called as our emotional side. Okay, so this is the second this is second thing. The first thing is conscious, second thing is subconscious. The third one is unconscious mind, which we call as the higher self. Okay, so which teaches the brain and mind, higher self. And this higher self is a part of the divine spark, divine self. So the fourth one is divine self. So human being is four united as one in a single body. Okay, so the divine self is that divine light itself directly, which is dwelling within ourselves, and that divine self is called supra consciousness. So consciousness, mind is called subconscious, then the higher self is called unconscious, the divine spark present within the unconscious is called supra consciousness. All these four, conscious mind, put together is called human being within a human body. Okay, so this brain is mostly affected by the emotional state of the mind. How is that? So when your mom or when somebody rejects a kid, a mom rejects only the brain wired physical body, this conditioned body of the society. Okay, conditioned body which has a name in the society. Okay, so she says, no, you shouldn't do that. You can't live like that. You can't go there. You can't eat this. You can't do that. This is all rejection for this brain wired physical body. When this brain wired physical body intakes and absorbs that whatever that elderly person tells, it believes, whether sadly or angrily or frustratingly or depressingly, whatever it is, it believes what they tell is true. So I can't live, I think. So if I can't live, then what is the use in me wishing? This is how it becomes. It rejects its own wish of the inner child. So your brain actually rejects your mind. It's not your mom who rejected you. Your mom rejected your brain wired physical body. Your brain rejected your inner child's wish. So when your inner child's wish is being rejected, okay, so like if your inner child wish comes true, and when it is allowed to live as how it wishes, then it jumps in joy. You will be like happy. That joy, emotion, when you're so happy, it's so positive. It gives so much of strength to the brain, and brain also like so much boosted with energy and works so actively, brisk and bright. Okay, and when the inner child's wish is being rejected, and it's been neglected, and it's not been allowed to live its wish, inner child feels very sad and depressive. So inner child becomes very dull, and this emotional state of the inner child drains out the energy of the brain, and it doesn't boost the energy of the brain. It keeps on sucking the energy of the brain, and because of that draining out of the energy of the brain, that energy level of the body also starts getting stagnated, and it can't work, and it becomes very like saggy, lazy, and it becomes stagnant. This is how human body mechanism works. So the main essence is in the emotional side. Okay, so the main essence is in the mind, inner child. So whatever happens, that inner child healing has to happen. So the brain has to know the difference, that what it is doing actually to the mind. Okay, so brain should know that first of all it is conditioned, and this conditioning need not have to be true, and even though it is followed by everybody in the society, there is something called eternal belief system. So whatever this brain has from its birth till date, till now, whatever it is believing, whatever the society has conditioned, that brain, where would have it got all the information and knowledge from the society, isn't it? From the books it read, from the school it studied, from the friends it met with, and the information it got from its parents, teachers, peer group, and the relatives and the family, victorious people, what all it saw. This all is stored as memory in this brain box, isn't it? So that with that information, it has the main foundation of its belief system. So now when when this brain realizes all these conditioned, when the brain lives in this conditioned world, and when the inner child feels very rejected, and when the emotional state of the inner child affects the brain, okay, and because of that, whole body, whole our daily routine, life system, everything gets messed up. Okay, and the brain feels meaningless. I've already explained about everything about self-love in the prior videos. If you watch all my prior videos, you'll be able to understand what is self-love. Okay, So that time this mind, what it does, it cuts the connection with the brain, thinking that this brain is always coming down and manipulating me, and whatever the society tells, it keeps on telling me, and it keeps on asking me to live as how the society teaches me, and it's not bringing my wish into reality. This is how the inner child goes very adamant and very dark, and it cuts the connection with the brain. When the connection is cut, until the mind, inner child is screaming or crying, or it's like very adamant, very arrogant, whatever it is doing, it's fighting with the brain. Some way the communication is there, so brain will be living its life, doing its normal work. But when this connection abruptly gets cut, the brain feels meaningless. It doesn't know for whom it is living, for what it is living. So it is like it goes very helpless and hopeless. So that time when this mind cuts the brain's connection, that time brain starts to realize and think, introspection, everything happens, starts to realize and think, just because I rejected all the wishes of my mind, now I am suffering. So if I have to become happy, I have to make all my inner child's, my mind's wishes come true. So at any cost I have to make it come true. So this is how brain takes a turnover. So when brain takes a turnover, until it was manipulating the mind, you can't live this, society won't accept that was a selfish conditioned love. Now when brain is thinking, at any cost I have to make my mind's wish come true, this is self-love. So out of this self-love, this emotional self-mastery is born. Okay, so if the brain has to work normal, if the mind has to be happy, this emotional self-mastery should be there. So when at that time when brain realizes all this, and when brain takes a turnover to the self-love, and it is so intensifiedly thinking about how to make the mind's wish come true, how to make the mind's wishes come true, that time higher self plays the role. And when you sit very calmly and very quietly without thinking about anything, you become very tired, worn out, and you are sitting. That time your higher self, your unconscious self, starts to talking to you, and you can hear that voice. And when you hear that voice, and when you listen to all that teachings, and when you make it as your plan of action, whatever it is teaching, it will teach you. This is how universe works, and these are the universal laws. So whatever wish it is, if you want to bring that wish come true, you have to follow all these universal laws. You have to make a plan of action, you have to execute that plan of action step by step. To execute that plan of action, you need information and knowledge, and for every step you keep, you need the financial backup as well as tools also. So once you have this, you can pass by step, and at the last step your dream comes true, your wish comes into reality. This is how your higher self teaches you. So brain listens to all this and takes the action, and step by step it crosses and makes the wish true. This is how it happens. So when this happens, your inner child also keeps watching all these things. Okay, so your inner child is happy, obviously, but still this is not emotional self-mastery. So where does this emotional self-mastery come into play? So when you know, now your belief system changes. Your conditioned belief system is completely replaced by your eternal belief system, which your higher self taught. So when you know whatever this social conditioning has taught me need not have to be true. So that time you know, whatever my mom scolded me when I was a child, and whatever my mom tells me when I am now, you can't do this, you can't live like this will affect the family, it is not true. So when you know that it is not true, your brain will never reject your mind's wishes. Okay, so your emotion will never get affected. Okay, so now when your belief system is changed, when you strongly know you can make all your wishes come true, you will not fight or you will not argue with your mother. At the same time, you will not feel rejected also. You're very strong in your mind, you know your dreams come true. So what? Your mom is rejecting your brain, but still your brain is not rejecting your inner child's wish. Okay, so your brain knows how to bring your inner child's wish true. So that is where emotionally sensitive person becomes emotionally very strong person. But still, this is all is like to handle within yourselves, not with the outside world. Okay, so this is all handling with yourselves. So you become a very stamina-full person, mentally strong person, but still you earn well, you have lots of money, you make all your dreams come true, you're financially abundant for every step, you have the financial backup, everything is okay. But still the outside environment around you can influence you, because emotion is within you and you can control emotion, but those emotions are triggered by the outside world around you, isn't it? So you should learn to handle the people around you. If you like this emotional self-mastery itself, you have to become, you are becoming an emotionally strong person itself out of self-love, isn't it? So when that is the case, you should learn to put strong boundaries around you. What are boundaries? Boundaries are a set of rules and regulations according to the people whom you are dealing with. So for each people, your set of rules and regulations are going to change. Your boundary is going to change. For some people, you have to limit the boundary like very much wide outside. For some people, you can allow till to a distance, very close distance. To some people, your boundary should be very strong. Okay, so you should learn to put strong boundaries. You should learn to treat yourselves well, as well as your actions, your behaviors, your way of presenting yourself in front of the society, and the way you handle people. This all teaches others how they should treat you. Okay, so you have to learn all these skills also. So the way you treat yourselves and the way you treat yourselves only, like with respect, with proud, unlike with how to tell, lots of love, compassion, kindness. This is the way you will treat yourselves, isn't it? So much of self-care, all that. So when somebody from outside mistreats you, you will never allow it. So the way you treat yourselves teaches others how they have to treat you. So you will set your boundaries only according to that, isn't it? So definitely, to become an emotionally strong person, you should be your priority. You should be your best, close, intimate friend. You should be your intimate lover, and you have to realize and heal your separation consciousness, and you are your twin flame. Twin flames share same consciousness. You are your twin flame. Okay. So when this union, oneness, when you come into oneness, you are in union with God, all these things. So when you are so strong in your spiritual side, when you are so strong in your emotional side, why I am telling you have to heal your separation consciousness, and why I am telling you have to come into oneness with your twin flame is then only you will not have emotional codependency, or else definitely you will have that emotional codependency. And because of that emotional codependency, always you are going to keep searching outside of you. Okay, when the search is outside, so that search is going to create longing, that search is going to create craving, and that craving is going to make you become close with somebody else emotionally, and that is going to create attachment, and because of that attachment, all expectations are going to pop out, and when that expectations is not met out, you become frustrated, you become disappointed, all this. Why all this hell? So to cut off all these things, you have to heal your separation consciousness, and you are your twin flame, and you have to come into oneness with your twin flame. You have to be in union with God. That is the only solution. You can cut your emotional codependency. Only by cutting the emotional codependency, you can become an emotionally independent individual. So not only financially independent, spiritually independent, physically independent, you have to be an emotionally independent individual also. When you do all these things, you become emotionally strong, emotionally healed, and emotionally, like, how to tell, self-mastered person. So now you have put boundaries, you know to handle people. So whatever situation comes from outside, you have changed your belief system itself. So you will not reject yourself. So no emotion from outside, no people from outside, no situation from outside can influence your inner peace and inner foundation, strong foundation of eternal beliefs. So whatever happens, you know your wish can come true, and whatever you think is being taught by the universe, and that is only the eternal truth. Whatever people, whomever people are there around you, all lives in this 3D conditioned world matrix, and whatever belief system they are carrying is just beliefs they have been taught, and they taught you also, which is not true. So when you know this strongly, nothing will affect you. This is how you become emotionally self-mastered person. So the next video is going to be about, so next video is going to be about how to break the social conditioning. So let us see in next video. Until then, bye.